Do I need a license to sell homemade food in Colorado? And what is Colorado's cottage food laws? In this video from Cottage Foods Laws, the brand new YouTube channel dedicated to home food entrepreneurs, we're going to cover specifically what you can do, what you can sell, how much, and where you can sell your homemade food in Colorado. We're going to get to that right now. All right, so welcome back to Cottage Foods Laws. We are YouTube's premier food entrepreneur channel dedicated to the homemade food entrepreneur. And if this is your first video, definitely hit the subscribe button. We are going to have tons of fantastic content solely dedicated to you, the homemade food entrepreneur. So this specific video, we're going to get into cottage food laws for the state of Colorado and what exactly does that mean and what can you sell. So actually, Colorado has something really super unique about the amount of money that you can sell through their law. It's actually based on each individual item. So if you've got 100 different items, you'd be allowed to sell up to $10,000 per item. Yes, that is right. So you could sell 10 grand of each item in a 365-day period. So in a year, you could be making anywhere from $500,000 or even more if you really wanted to, if you were selling up to 20 or 30 different types of items or even alternating the different various items that you want to sell. So that's actually a pretty interesting way they have their income set up. The sky is literally the limit because you can make a variety of flavored items. It's based on the product and the individual flavors. Now, the current law restricts producers actually to selling directly to a customer. So the other great thing about it is there's no license from the health department needed in the state of Colorado, which is really unique too. Most states may have actually a health department license or permit that you would need, but no license is needed in the state of Colorado. Producers also have to take what's known as a training course for selling food products, which I'll get into a little while about how much that costs and where you can get that done too. So let's dive into the first thing. The first step is, what exactly can you sell? What are some of the allowed foods that you're allowed under Colorado's cottage food laws? Number one, you can do brownies, you can do muffins, scones, cakes, and pizzelles, breads, cookies, rolls, tortillas, a variety of different sweet breads and baked goods with alcohol, actually, as long as it's actually an ingredient that's being baked into the item that is allowed. The types of candies you can do, chocolates, fudge, cotton candy, of course. And a lot of these, keep in mind, are really great products to sell at locals farmer market. You can be making up an extra few hundred or even a couple $1,000s on a weekend if you're doing a Friday to Saturday or Sunday type of an event. Keep in mind that many of these also cost very little to start, because the really cool thing about having a home-based food business is that most of the equipment that you can use from home, you've already got. So you don't have to invest a large amount of money into your business. That's what makes it so appealing when you start a home-based food business. So other things that you can do, let's do honeys. You can do also pickles, vinegars. You can do dry goods such as coffees. You can do herbal blends. You can do tea blends. Dried fruit items, spices, and seasonings, which is a huge moneymaker, by the way. Dried vegetables as well, or even cereals, believe it or not, granolas and that type of item. Other items that are a little different, that is unique to Colorado too, is fermented foods are allowed in whole eggs. So if you actually have a farm and you're doing eggs and you're looking to sell eggs, believe it or not, a lot of people do purchase farmers market eggs if you are growing them yourself or you're making them yourself. Fermented foods, which is normally something that's not allowed in a lot of states, you can do that in Colorado. Now, some of the other items that you can do are things such as jams and jellies. You can do chutneys. You can do fruit butters, preserves and marmalades, applesauce, caramel corns, chocolate-covered items, pretzels, nuts, crackers, and seeds, popcorn, and even granola. Now, remember, a lot of these items, too, you can literally buy in bulk, break them down, and either you can alter the seasoning, you can season them, you can roast them, you can do that type of thing, and simply flip the product. So you don't have to necessarily make every single part of the item from scratch. So definitely something to keep about. Just keep in mind. Now, next thing up is the prohibited foods. Now, these are items that you can't make. Things such as kombucha, meat jerkies, which are dealing with raw meats, raw proteins, salsas you can't do, ketchups, juices, perishable baked goods. So keep in mind that most cottage food laws wrap around the idea of time or temperature sensitive products. So if the food item that you're making is sensitive to time, meaning that it has to be eaten in a certain period of time, it's normally not allowed. If it's a temperature-sensitive item, let's say even if it's pizza, or if it's some type of cooked meal that has to be kept at a certain temperature to prohibit any type of bacteria to grow, that is something that you can't make normally under cottage food laws. Now, let's check out Additional limitations. Some of the things that you're limited to that you really can't exceed. Things like direct sales only. This is kind of limiting, but you have to actually give it to the customer. You can't ship a product through the internet based on your home cottage food law in Colorado. Interstate sales, as it's known, is something that's prohibited. The only thing also you want to keep in mind too, as well, is the sales limit. As we discussed before, each item that you're producing, you're allowed up to $10,000 per product, which, to be honest with you, if you've got a variety of trail mixes, you have 15 variations of trail mixes and some popcorn candies and candy corn and that type of thing, you can have a variety of items and still make quite a bit of money. It's really going to boil down to you hustling and making sure you get out there and attend events and sell your product. So that's something you want to keep in mind. So now let's talk about a little bit of the business aspects. Now, the one thing that's not required that shows it specifically for the state of Colorado is food business insurance or even an LLC. Now, the business license, you need to contact the city or the county that you're in to determine whether or not they're going to request you to have a business license. A lot of cottage food operations in different states don't even require that at all, which is a little odd in my opinion, but business license and even creating an LLC. Keep this in mind that if you don't have food business insurance or an LLC, you can be sued and you can personally be liable. Sole proprietorships, as they're known, if you are the sole proprietor of your business, even under cottage food laws, they do not protect you if somebody wants to sue you for getting sick or ill, if they happen to get any hospital bills or incurred any bills or debt based upon anything that happens from eating your product. So keep that in mind. The other thing you have to do in Colorado is get a food handler's course. Now, this is about $15-20, somewhere around there. You can actually get that. It's a one-time shot. You need to definitely get that one-time thing, and you need to get that course taken prior to getting signed off on. So sales tax. Now, you're not required to collect sales tax in the state, but you may be required to collect local sales tax for the city or county. You need to double check with your county's business office or business development office to see whether or not they require you to collect sales tax and remit that to them. So next up, the labeling. So how do you label cottage foods in the state of Colorado? What are the requirements? So number one, your business address. Now, your business address is actually going to be your home address. So if you're looking to sell food from your home, the actual address you have to use is your home address, not a P.O. box, not a commercial kitchen, nothing but your home address. Next up is the business name. So as you create a name, if it's Damien's Chocolate Chip Cookie Company, well then so be it. You need to put the business name on the label though. The date produced. So the date that you actually made the product to is also required on the labeling. You want to make sure you put that on there. You can print up your own labels as well. We've got a lot of great videos here on the channel to show you how to make your own video, how to make your own labels for your food products, but definitely something you want to do as well. Next up is your ingredient listing. So you need to have the ingredients from greatest to least. So whatever your item is, the largest portion of those ingredients need to be listed first, down to the least portion of the ingredients last. You also have to have a phone number. So the phone number of your home, or you can actually set up a separate line in your home for a business phone. It's also a great thing to write off for taxes, by the way. But your business phone number, and you need to have a phone number on there as well. The name of the product, that has to be on there too. So if it happens, like I said before, if it's sugar cookies, it needs to state that this is a sugar cookie item. You need to have the name of the product, okay? And then lastly, a statement. Normally, these little statements are something that most states require, just specifying that it's made in a kitchen that's not inspected by the state or any type of county agency. It's a home-based food business product, so there's no inspections of this kind, right? So something to the effect like this product was produced in a kitchen at home, and it doesn't have any state licensing or inspection involved. Something to that effect, okay? All right, so lastly, you want to make sure that you have no pets or smoking in the area where you're producing your food product. So I know you're going to be at home, if everyone's got kids or they've got a busy life, they've got animals and such, but when you're producing your product to sell, make sure that it's in the cleanest, most sanitary environment possible before you package the item. You don't want to have birds flying around. You don't want to have dog hair everywhere. You don't want to have that stuff because it potentially could get in the product. And that would turn off a lot of people who want to buy the item. So I'll wrap it up now. That is Colorado's cottage food laws, kind of in a nutshell. You want to definitely take a look at the additional resources we have down below. We have also podcasts. You can listen to us on the go. Also, a website blog we have that has a ton of additional free resources available for you as well. If you have any questions, let us know down below. If you've started a cottage food business as well, check out our Facebook group. We have nearly 5,000 members on our Facebook group dedicated to cottage foods, actually cottage food laws. Check that link down below. Join that club. There's a ton of people from every single state, and a lot of them very helpful as well. So take a look at our Facebook groups. And I'll see you guys on our next video.